It's 8 p.m. on a Friday, and the United States has made us rewrite this entire script.
Yes.
The second full week of February is over, and it's already been an eventful one. The president just declared a national emergency over immigration. Measles is back. People are angry about taxes, and a Pennsylvania lawmaker wants to tax violent video games, among other things. From WHIP, I'm Maya Tejada, and this is your WHIP Weekly News Crackdown. We gotta talk about this national emergency. On Friday, President Donald Trump officially declared a national emergency and a plan to appropriate about $8 billion to construct his border wall. After plans to get Congress to pay for it ultimately failed, this decision has kicked off a big legal and political battle with opposition from both Republicans and Democrats. National emergencies are not uncommon. Since 1976, presidents have declared 58 of them, and most have been used to impose economic sanctions or gain increased authority in operations overseas. The laws the president intends to use here, however, are likely more in line with the national emergency declared after 9/11, allowing the president to redirect military construction money and take sweeping actions he couldn't normally engage with without the approval of Congress. There are a lot of reasons why this is facing bipartisan, legal, and political opposition, but at least one of them is quite clear. Some of the laws the president is likely to use are pretty far-reaching. Using the ongoing immigration crisis as justification might set a really low bar for future presidents to do the same. That's because the existence of the immigration crisis itself is less than certain. While undocumented immigration from South and Central America is up since last year due to ongoing conflicts, it's still at some of the lowest levels we've seen since the 1970s. That's citing raw data from U.S. Customs and Border Protection. And while undocumented immigrant crime has become a deliberate talking point in U.S. politics, a growing body of statistical evidence suggests that undocumented immigrants tend to lay low and commit fewer crimes than those born in the U.S. Looking specifically to homicides, you're more likely to get murdered by your food than by someone who entered the U.S. illegally. If we're willing to say that these problems are severe enough to allow the president to bypass Congress and take unilateral action, similar justifications could be used by future presidents to enact parts of a Green New Deal, healthcare reforms, or tighter gun control. While those ideas are probably appealing to many of you, allowing one part of our government to make these sorts of decisions on its own can be really dangerous. There was a lot of other U.S. government news this week, but this was the big one. Check back in next week for updates on the situation and others. Speaking of bleak futures, as of Thursday, 55 cases of measles have been confirmed in Washington state. Almost all of the cases occurred in children younger than 10 whose parents chose not to vaccinate them. 22 new cases of measles have also been confirmed since the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's previous report. According to NBC News, the CDC has confirmed 101 cases of measles from 10 states during 2019. Although its data may not include recent state-based news reports, the CDC's tally runs from January 1st to Thursday. In the vast majority of these states, the disease has been traveling among people who either had not the vaccine at all or hadn't had the second dose. Measles is a deadly and a highly contagious disease that has been previously eliminated in the United States. It is totally preventable. Please vaccinate your kids.
Please!
You know what? While we're on the pain train, let's talk about taxes.
Yes!
Millions of Americans filing out their 2018 taxes have apparently been surprised to find out that their tax refunds will shrink or that they will owe money to the IRS after years of receiving refunds. On Friday, February 8th, the IRS reported the average tax refund check is down 8% or $170 this year compared to last. And the number of people receiving a refund so far has dropped by almost a quarter. This is largely a result of President Trump's 2017 tax measures, which cut taxes for most Americans at the cost of lower refunds, among other things. The 2017 tax policy also cut corporate tax rates by over a third, but don't worry, I know what you're thinking.
Is Amazon gonna be okay?
Yes, Amazon, one of the largest corporations on earth, will be okay. For a second year in a row, Amazon is paying $0 in income tax. In fact, they reported a $129 million rebate, so it's almost like they paid negative income tax, and they reportedly doubled their profits to $11.2 billion, a number that our limited human brains struggle to even comprehend. I don't know about you, but I am so happy to pay taxes so that a company like Amazon can live their best lives.
Yes.
I love you, Amazon. All right, if the news hasn't made you tear up yet, brace yourselves. NASA declared the Opportunity rover's mission over on Wednesday after 8 months of no contact. NASA lost contact with Opportunity in June when the solar-powered rover got trapped in a massive dust storm. The storm left it covered in dust, unable to recharge its batteries. Opportunity was meant to be in operation for only 90 days, but lasted 14 years on the surface of Mars. That's the largest amount of time any human-built robot has spent exploring another world. The last message sent to scientists from the rover was, "My battery's low and it's getting dark." I'm not crying. You're crying.
No.
But I know someone else who might be crying. A Connecticut judge ruled this past week that conspiracy theorist Alex Jones must submit a sworn deposition in an ongoing case against families who lost children in the Sandy Hook school shooting. In April of 2018, Sandy Hook families filed a lawsuit against Jones, who claimed that the school shooting never took place. Mark Barden, whose son Daniel was killed, released a statement on Wednesday, February 13, saying, quote, "For years, Alex Jones and his co-conspirators have turned the unthinkable loss of our sweet little Daniel and of so many others into advertising dollars and fundraising appeals. It is far beyond time that he be held accountable for the pain his false narratives have caused so many, and today's ruling brings us one step closer to doing that." Let's see what's up in Pennsylvania. Oh no, it's something silly. Representative Chris Quinn of Delaware County, PA, has pushed legislation that would introduce an additional 10% tax on violent video games. Dubbed a, quote, sin tax like those on alcohol and tobacco, the money would go to the Digital Protection for School Safety Account Fund in an attempt to raise security measures and prevent school shootings. House Bill 109, which Quinn originally tried to pass last year, would apply the extra tax to those games that the ESRB rates as M for mature or for adults only. After sales tax, that would raise the cost of a standard AAA release from around $60 to $70. In a memo explaining the bill last year, Quinn referenced a statement from the National Center for Health Research saying, quote, "Studies have shown that playing violent video games can increase aggressive thoughts, behaviors, and feelings in both the short term and long term." Despite what he says, the growing body of research that exists on the topic suggests that this is not the case. The bill faces opposition from the gaming community, and some have even claimed that it violates the right to free speech, citing a 2011 Supreme Court ruling that video games are protected under the First Amendment. President Donald Trump's nominee for Attorney General, William Barr, was confirmed as the next Attorney General. In a 54-45 vote, the vote fell pretty much along the party lines, and he was sworn in Thursday in the Oval Office. Barr had served as Attorney General for President George H.W. Bush and says he considers Mueller a friend, stating, quote, "I don't think Mr. Mueller would be involved in a witch hunt." That said, many Democrats are still worried about the outcome of the Mueller investigations in the hands of Barr, who will oversee the duties in the Mueller probe. We'll keep you posted. That's all the time we have for today. If you like the way we deliver the news to your face every week, consider liking this video, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. Join us next week for more of the news you care about. From WHIP, I'm Maya Tejada, and this has been your WHIP Weekly News Crackdown.